Welcome back to another episode of Behind the Tech Desk. My name is Dale.
My name's Jake.
And we are here again with our third special co-host, Cacti the Cactus. But most importantly, we are back for another student interview with the wonderful...
Lindsay Ward.
And Kaden Condi.
Hey guys.
It's super awesome to have you here. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourselves?
Wow.
Please.
I'm Kaden. I'm producing this project at the moment that we'll soon talk about. This is Lindsay. He is
I'm the writer-director of the project that we are so mysteriously not telling you about right now.
Yeah.
But we will soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, we will ominous music in there.
That's
like,
All right. So you guys are Tri-6 film students at SAE. How are you finding the entire experience? How have you found the entire experience?
I just want to go home.
I feel
honestly.
Yeah, me too.
It's the worst.
It's been fun, but we are tired. It's worth it though. It's worth it.
It's a
We've
long
learned so
road.
much.
It's a long road, but oh man, I am like double the knowledge I ever had coming here.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like if I was to talk to the person who was coming to SAE Try One, you know, I'd just be like, "Who's this idiot?" You know, it's a different person. You know,
A lot
Exactly.
of growth, a lot of knowledge to have gained from this whole experience. What's like one massive takeaway that you've gotten from SAE so far?
I mean, it sounds a bit cheesy to say, but definitely the people I've met. You know,
yeah.
You work with people and you connect with them and you understand them, and it's one of those things that as I continue on, one thing that won't change is the people I keep in contact with, I think.
Yeah.
So, but this man's not one of them. Cutting all contacts.
Immediately fired.
That's it.
Never seen him again.
No, definitely the contacts that you meet here. It's probably the best. Even the tech crew here. We've got.
Well, come on.
I'd like to point out that I am the best tech crew.
100%.
so-
Yeah. All
I love it that you're not even disagreeing.
Beautiful, beautiful. So you've made a whole lot of different projects along the way. Do you feel like you've improved in your ability to create those projects, to manage those projects?
Yeah, tremendously. I would
hope
say.
so.
Yeah.
I hope so. Always a good
We've adapted so much like of our workflows to the next project, to the next
Next project,
project.
yeah.
Like this one, although there's like always some bumps, it's just been smooth sailing kind of.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, film is always, you know, I love that saying where it's like every opportunity. Every obstacle is an opportunity.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. Oh,
and
absolutely.
that's true with all art, but it's particularly film when they've got so many moving pieces. You just like that's what I love about these film sets is you always know you're going to get in and you're going to plan things based on how you've shot before and go, okay, we're not going to do that again.
Yeah.
And then something will happen and go, we're never
Doing
going to
it
do that
again.
again. Yeah, that's it, you know? But that's just part of the experience. That's part of the learning thing. And I can't wait to go to my next film shoot and mess everything up again.
Exactly.
I really want to hear a little bit about the project you've just worked on. So do you want to tell us a little bit about that and what was kind of involved in that? And most importantly, what's the name of that?
Yeah.
Okay, so the name is, drummer roll please, Torture Therapy.
What a great name.
Sounds like my
what
average
name?
Tuesday.
What a fantastic name. It's,
My average workday at SAE, torture therapy.
That's it.
All right, before we go into the ins and outs, you guys have brought us a little clip that we're going to play now so we can have a little reaction to it, I guess. You know what I mean?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
So, Baz, how's life? Huh?
I ain't talking to you.
Nah, that you just did. Nah, so. Oh, damn it. One sec. Oh.
All right, listen up, f***wit. You and your mate better kiss your paychecks goodbye. Because I am not telling you a single goddamn f***ing thing!
Look, I'm really not in the headspace for this right now. So if we could just talk about life.
Well, that was really wonderful. I know I'm going to have to spend a lot of time in the editing room chucking that.
We've got a few bad words. It's okay,
just a couple bad words,
Just
but
need
you
to
know.
knock it down to a PG.
with a name like torture therapy.
Yeah, exactly.
What are you going to expect?
Can we keep the name torture in here? Or
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think
Yeah,
we can.
yeah.
'Cause it's a
Otherwise,
name
the
of
whole
something.
movie's just called Therapy. That's a bit different.
You know, that was one of the most frustrating things making this film is we started going into AI art as like proof
Yeah.
of concept.
Yep.
But all of these new AI art like softwares, they have guidelines, and so you'll be like, can I have some guy with a bit of blood on his face
Yeah.
or a bit of torture? I mean, I don't know about you, but my search history is just so. I mean, it's torture. I mean. Oppenheimer came out around the same time, so I'm searching up like atomic bombs and things like that. Like it's bad. There's going to be some CIA people looking at me or something. But,
You really have to like make your AI searches kind of PG. Like you got to be like, can I get a guy with a bag over his head and a bit of tomato sauce?
You gotta
just
water it
on
down.
the side.
That's it.
Like he's just gone to the local 7-Eleven and bitten into a pie. He's definitely not gagged.
And you can tell that those AI softwares are like,
Hang on a minute.
all right, sure. Bring it through.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
So tell us a little bit. Give us like a synopsis of what the film is.
So the synopsis of the film, essentially it's about a lonely CIA interrogations torturer who wants to befriend the subject that he's been hired to torture.
Right. Okay. Right.
And that relationship between the two, which is arguably very unrealistic, seems to kind of catch up to them and create some interesting drama.
Right,
Sounds
okay.
fantastic.
So what you're saying is, it's not about the damage we do, but the friends we make along the way.
Exactly.
That's
right.
it.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
it.
So,
So-
it's really a quite light-hearted movie
That's
with a
it.
lot
Yeah.
of love to share.
There's a big twist though at the end, so
So you can't go and tell us there's a big twist.
you got to watch the film.
I'm not cutting that out of the episode.
no.
That's in there for good.
No, prepare
Yeah,
yourself.
it's a dark
Brace
comedy,
yourself.
so
It's a dark
we really wanted to have that satirical nature to it and
Yeah,
the
yeah.
comedical parts, just so we can kind of say that we're not doing like a thriller or like anything like that with the torture theme.
I love that that's a point we have to clarify.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Just in case.
Just in case, it's not a thriller, guys. It's dark comedy.
It's
okay.
funny.
It's just funny.
And
Laugh
no
at the
one-
tortured man.
No one was hurt in the making
Yes.
of this film as well.
Except us, we are emotionally traumatized for seeing that
Yes, yeah, of
1
course.
minute segment. So, Kaden, you're the producer. What does that entail for you?
It means that I have to be there from the very start to the very end and make sure it actually happens.
So you're like a glorified supervisor.
Yeah. pretty much.
Pretty much. Okay.
Pretty much.
And so what? You're making sure people get to set on time. What's
Yeah. So first AD usually they do like the onset like first AD. They look after everyone. What I do, I just make sure that it happens. So we went to different locations. I talked to a bunch of different people. I made deals. I signed contracts.
Makes that sound so sus.
I made the legal stuff for us to be able to do it happen.
I love that your role has just totally encompassed the theme of your movie.
Yeah, that's it.
So yeah, essentially, I see point A and then point B. I make sure we get to point B.
Right. Okay. I see.
Yeah.
I see.
And we stumbled our way through there.
Yeah,
well, you know,
there were a few problems,
it's all
but we
part
made
of
it.
the journey,
It's
isn't
part
it?
of the experience,
Exactly.
for
That's it.
sure.
That's
and so Lindsay, and as director writer, taking both roles on, was that a bit difficult for you to manage, or?
It's definitely a lot to take on, especially because, you know, the first trimester of Capstone is particularly the pre-production side. So it's like, quick, get that script done sort of thing. And then as soon as you get that, it's like, quick, we've got to cast. We've got to, you know, go through that process. So it does feel like it's been a very, you know, long and tiring road. But, you know, I would be disappointed. I mean, I said to someone else, I said, I would have been disappointed if I hadn't have tried to pitch for something big. Capstone. If I had gotten to the end and just, you know, kind of just gone by and done something small that I wasn't interested in, I'd be like, well, what was the point?
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. And like when you're studying, when you're especially at SAE, you're kind of expected to give yourself that breathing room to make those mistakes as well. And like a valuable lesson to be learned in creating something large scale, that huge production by the looks of things. And I know that you guys have gone through the whole test screening process very recently, and you've shown it a few times. What kind of audience reaction has been given?
We've got mostly positive, but we've really been able to structure our film in the correct direction this way.
Yeah.
Feedback is so important. I mean, I was talking to Kaden about this recently, and this is actually great advice for any, you know, future film students coming through is throughout the entire process of a film, you're constantly getting feedback in your pre-production, writing the script, your production, how you direct, and all those elements, as well as your editing process. And it's always this thing of you write a draft or you do an edit, and you go to someone like a lecturer or a film audience or whatever, and you give them that script or you give them that edit, and you go, what do you think? And you're thinking, this is pretty banging, I've spent a lot of time on this. And the first thing usually that comes is like, okay, there's some improvements to come here. And all you want to do is you just want to go, okay, thanks, grab it, leave, go to your producer, say, don't worry about that, we've got it. This is the one, that's all you want to do. But if you stick around and you hear them out, by the end of it, you'll be going, I'm so grateful that, I stuck with it.
Yeah.
This film is going to take a whole new direction. It's going to be so much better. Happens so many times in that process, but, and it's tough. It is tough to take feedback sometimes. It sucks, but...
Especially when you pour your heart and soul into
exactly,
it as well.
you spend so much time on it, but it's so valuable. Listen to the feedback. Filter through it, because, like in the example of general audience, you can't just take everything and put it on board. It's not necessarily practical, but you got to kind of filter through it and go, okay, what practically can we compromise to make this better? And I think that's the skill that we've learnt a lot in this trimester with audience testing, particularly.
Yeah,
So,
fantastic.
Yeah.
So can you tell me a little bit about what inspired you to make this film?
well, it's probably not anything to do with
It's
the
just
story.
like a
It
fun
was-
conversation.
It was more
wasn't
to
it?
do with we the last capstone film premiere that we had was for back at the first trimester of this.
Yeah.
And we had it over at Luna, was it?
Yeah.
And I remember talking to a lecturer, and he said, I said, what do you think about the diversity of films? And he said, it would be nice to get something a bit more comedical, because we had a lot of very sadder story sort of thing. So
a
I
lot
thought,
of dramas.
well, dramas, which is
great.
They were great films, but it was like, cool, okay. So I thought I want to do something very different, a comedy. And so I worked great advice from our great lecturer Jesse. He talks a lot about ironic hooks. I read this from Save the Cat, a screenwriting book. If anyone wants to be a screenwriter, please read that book.
Serious.
Save the Cat by Blake Snyder. It's fantastic. And so, he talks about ironic hooks. And so that was essentially what I did for this concept, was I made up a spreadsheet and I just put a bunch of different roles like doctor, teacher, da-da-da. One of them was a torturer. And it's like, what is the most ironic belief, situation, relationship that this type of character can be put under? And for torturer, I was talking to one of my mates and he was just like, how funny would it be if he wanted to befriend, whoever. And I think he came up with some funny skit sort of thing. And I thought, hey, that's inherently funny, because the thing with film is, and writers will tell you this, big, great, famous writers always tell you, if you can't say your idea in less than 25 words, it's not going to be a great film.
No.
And so that's what's been the through line with this project, is every time someone asks me, I can say it within a sentence. It's like, great, you know exactly what your film is. And as long as you, and this is what we've done throughout the whole process, is we've made sure that we keep on board with that.
Yep.
And even though our film has changed drastically over all these drafts and edits, if you go back to the first assembly draft, it's still the same concept.
Yeah.
A torturer wanting to befriend the person they're torturing.
Yeah.
Which is such a wild idea. Like, I can't say that. I really want to watch the film because I want to see how it ends up playing out. Like, that's such an interesting core concept.
I'm glad you're
That's
hooked.
it. We've got him. We've
really
got him.
spewing. I haven't been there for like the test shoots now. Like,
I guess that opens the question of like, where will people be able to see this film?
That's a great question. So it's looking to be at the SAE premiere for the end of this trimester, which I believe is December 15th.
Yep.
And are we
I
allowed
think-
to disclose the location?
I don't even probably.
Let's leave it for now.
If we can, we'll leave it in the description.
15th of December, it will be, we'll promote it around. It will be on our socials. So if you keep in contact with Torture Therapy socials, you'll be able to come along. You'll know the time. You'll know the venue. It's a really cool venue.
And I think it's free entry.
Yeah.
Which is really good.
Yeah.
We
so
get to
you can
invite
literally,
everyone.
you've got no excuse. You've got no excuse not to come.
Come on down. Bring your mum. Bring your dad.
Bring your gran.
brothers.
Bring your
yeah,
goldfish.
dog. Bring your gran.
Yeah.
I'll bring my gran.
Yeah.
Are you going to bring your granddad?
Can I?
Yep. I mean, I can't.
Can I bring
but,
your gran?
We'll leave that one alone.
Did you just ask if you could bring me?
No, your grand.
No, so
Oh, my
your gran.
gran.
Yeah, can I bring your gran?
I'll ask her what she's up to.
Fantastic.
Okay. Cool.
So last question before we bugger off. What's a piece of advice from each of you that you would give to a Try One student currently halfway through, or a new student who's planning coming in next trimester?
You go first.
Make friends with the people you work with. Like, seriously, these people, they will help you. You will help them. like be really, really tight. Yeah.
Trying to make a little more work for me, aren't you?
Made sure not to swear
let's
there.
just take that quote and put it into a remix, shall we?
Yeah, yeah.
Just that there.
Yeah. But we would have had such a smaller crew if we didn't make all these connections.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And
that
SAE
goes-
is fantastic for it.
Oh, 100%. And that goes for any industry, really, any discipline, is making friends, networking is 90% of the job.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's not really what you know, but who you know, although knowing things is great. It's really handy because if you can prove that you can do the thing you're telling other people you can do, it's even better. So, Lindsay, what piece of advice have you got?
I mean, I obviously 100% agree. We've had such a fantastic crew. Like, I don't think we've even had the chance to really say it, but our crew were phenomenal. So many of them weren't even in our trimester, had no obligation to be part of our film, and they were with us the whole way. So we are so appreciative, and we've met them all along the way throughout this journey. So yeah, 100%. But I think for myself, a specific thing I would say is to other film students is I'd say, you're probably going to love this one. When you're planning for shoots and trying to manage time, the industry standard for how many shots to film in a shoot is 20 shots a day.
Oh, God.
And I say this because it is so important to your production.
Yeah.
We had a production where in prior, and again, this is something we learned and we fixed it with this production, but we had 2.5 days of shooting and 120 shots to get done. If you do the math, it's like, it's not going to work out.
It was insane.
Sorry, no, you go.
Yeah, we just make it efficient.
Yeah.
Make it efficient.
Make it efficient. So in this one, in comparison, we had 65 shots over probably about 4.5 days.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, and what that allowed me to do as a director, and also, it reduces stress, one, but it allows me as a director to spend time with my actors, to do multiple takes, let them kind of come up with ideas and that sort of thing. Having that pressure because we've overbooked the amount of shots, that will ruin a shoot.
Yeah.
So even if you're in try one and you would inevitably have probably learnt this by some point, I'll save you that one.
Save you all time.
Do not go over 20 shoots a day on average. Depending on what you're shooting, if you're doing montages or certain things, it might change. But if you're doing kind of, back and forth sort of things, I would plan for 20 minutes. And do test shoots. Test shoot. Film the film on an iPhone with your crew. Edit it. Cool, it works. Let's bring the actors in. That's, my advice is just be prepared.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's an amazing piece of advice, and I'm really happy that you're able to bring that to our students, and I'm really stoked that you're able to come onto the podcast and impart that knowledge onto us as well.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for coming.
Thanks so much for your time, and thanks so much for watching. Make sure you give it a like, give it a subscribe, share it around, tell your mum, tell your dad, tell Jacob.
Tell his grandma.
Tell me
Tell my
about
grandma.
it. But most importantly, don't forget,
The future is you.